StRaNgE, Chapter 3. Shadow and Dally were talking in the Great Hall when all of a sudden a cheetah ran in at warp speed, barreling through chairs and people in a frantic rush of hurry. "Shadow! Dally!" shouted the cheetah. Suddenly it turned back into Charla. She is an animograph. She can turn into a cheetah. Something is going on upstairs. Shadow put them all on his back, but he is fast as ever, even faster than the leopard, and they ran upstairs and busted down Dumbledore's door just in time to see him unzipping his jeans. "No, Edward!" Dally shouted. She loved Edward and would never see him get hurt. She ran at Dumbledore and headbutted him. He flew back into the wall and he fell into his phoenix, and they both exploded into thin air. "Fuck, we lost them!" exclaimed Draco. "We have to get that bastard fired from Hogwarts." The three of them mated downstairs to Professor McNoggle's orifice and demanded an interview. She opened the doorway to her chamber and said, "Come in, dearest Stunts. What can I ask you in?" "We need to get a certain paedophile fired from this place," said Harry. "He tried to rape some students, including me." "Oh no, don't worry, thought I will have it all took care of," she said, and bamfed them out. A week later a blog was posted in the bathrooms that said, "A teacher has been fired to improper actinic against a student. This teacher is Professor Umbridge." "What? They all mounted in unicorns? They fired the wrong teacher." "Wait, keep reading," said Shadow. It said more. "There is a new teacher to be hired in place of this one, and his name is Jack Skellington." "Yay," I said. "Professor Skellington will know what to do. Let's go to his class and tell him about that faggot Dumbledore." They wailed over and came into his office. He was very skinny and had a skull for a head and no eyes but teeth on them. "Hello, students. What can I help you with?" he asserted. "Dumbledore is gay," blurted Edward. "Well, students, there is nothing wrong with being gay," he said. "I am bisexual myself." "No, but he tried to finger us," said Draco. He turned blue a little because he was embarrassed. Draco is straight and it's Adam and Steve, not Adam and Steve. They exclaimed to the whole story and he said, "Don't worry, I will take acres of this. Just go to your rooms and sleep for tonight. Until then, incest, Dumbledore is not here and there are no rules." So they left and went to their rooms, except for Dally and Hiei, who hung out outside where the dorm rooms started. "Did you hear what Professor Skellington said?" Hiei asked. "I know that you were mad at me, but there are no rules and maybe I can make it up to you. How would you do that?" Just then he pushed her against the Ravenclaw satellite and because to kiss her gastrically. She put her tongue in his mouth and felt his teeth. He cut his tongue on her fangs and the blood tripped down his chin. He was turned on by it and suddenly Dally felt something against her. "Hiei, is that your wand?" she asked. "No, that is my penis, Dally," he said. "OMG, you're so huge. You're like 6 inches, she shouted, gasping for breath. "No, I'm 6 inches flaccid. Right now I have a boner, so I'm 10 inches, he said. Dally was at a loss for words. She was a virgin and did not know about dicks, and it was her first time having a penis. "Let's go to your room," said Hiei. "I want to have sex with you." So he sent a password and they went into Ravenclaw and went to Dally's bedroom. A couple Ravenclaws were there. "Dally, what is he doing here?" But she turned Hiei into a broom with her powers as a mutant, so they didn't notice anymore. Then she unturned him back into a Hiei and they got onto her bed. They started kissing and taking their clothes off. "Do you have a birth control?" asked Dally as he started to put it in. "No, I didn't think to bring some," he said, frowning, but he kept doing it. "Hiei, please, I don't want to have a baby. You can get pregnant even from your first time," she said, kissing him and moaning as he went faster and faster. "It will be okay. You can just use your powers to turn my cum into water and then it won't be babies," he said, as he started to titty-fuck her. Her boobs were so huge they could wrap around his wiener like bumblebees. "That sounds like a good idea," she said as he splurted on her neck, then flipped her over and started rubbing himself on her back. "I can also use my powers to turn stuff into kinky sex toys." So they continued. But just from the first chapter 1, Edward was watching from the darkness. He had used his vampire powers to turn into a bat and they didn't notice him fly in. He was angry. He was tumors. He was so mad at both of them, he used his wizard powers to turn the water back into cum. He would have his revenge. Chapter 4. Hiei and Dally woke up to the shutter of Hogwarts students cheering and lollygagging. They jumped out of bed and ran into the Great Hall where cowards of people were crowding around a girl. "What is going on here?" Hiei demanded to know. "Wait, that's Bella," said Dally as she peered through the congregation. Just as Dally said, Bella, Edward's girlfriend, was there in Ironaldi. She was giving a speech about why teen parency is illegal. "Well, it's a good thing we turned that water into wine," said Hiei, winking at her, and then they took seats in the front. Edward was sitting nearby and so was Shadow. All the students had to go to this meeting because it was majority for their classes. In the back of the ROM, Professor Snaps was watching Bella carefully. He did not get the memo about her coming to give a pubic speech, and so from afar he thought that it was Harry Potter's mum. When Bella's speech was over, she walked to the backyard to board her 2003 Chevy pullover, when a bag flew over her head. "I have you now, Lily Ann Potter," he said, and souffles her into the trunk of his jeep. He sped off into the night. "Edward Gurd!" Again his senses were tingling in the moment's heat. "Listen, everyone," he said. "We need to save Bella. Something horny has happened to her, and it's up to us to save him." Everyone nodded. "But we need someone who is good with a sword." Hiei was good with combat, but he was feeling fangled from the sex he had with Dally. Since there were no rules, they had sex over 1,000 times, so he did not raise his hands. Instead, he decided to make a suggestion box. "I think that Link should do it," asked Hiei. Just then, a blonde boy with a green hand and leggings came upon a griffin. He was wearing a sword and he had pointy ears. He swelled his weeping and slammed it to the ground with his foot. "Let's kick some ass," he said. And then they wee on the way. Snape was fucking the shit out of Bella, but since she was blind, the bag had punctured her eyes, she thought it was Edward and moaned punctually. Edward bust into the room and saw them making whoopee and had a look of sheer horror on his face. His balls dropped. He could not believe what he was saving. In his head he saw that his Doris Bella was in danger, but in his yes he was seeing that it was not the chaste at all. Bella was indeed riding Snape's cock with her pussy, and she happy. He ran away fast as his feet could carry him. "Edward, wait!" Dally shouted. She wanted him to come back and see treason, because she saw from the way Bella's eyes were gorged out that she did not know, but then she remembered that Bella was a cunt and told Edward, "I think we should kill them both." So Edward came back to the room while the both of them were still humping and attacked Bella first. He sunk his teeth into her neck like the Titanic, and all at once she turned to stone. Dally grabbed Snake's dick and threw it out the window, and then Link stabbed him through his heart and lungs. The scene, it was messy. Blood and guts was everywhere, and Bella and Professor Snape were dead. It was in this step that they knew they could defeat Dumbledore. When Professor Skellington heard the iPod, he rushed to the show right away. "Fucking goddammit," he swore. "Now we will need a new teacher again." He thought to himself a few seconds and said, "Edward, you can be our new tether," he smeared warmly. Edward was shocked and aroused. "I cannot believe this. It is such a hammer." He accepted the medal and went to class to teach. Since he was a vampire, he knew the most about potions. "This is good news for Ed," said Dally. "All right, gang bang, let's go over who's in our gang. We have Edward, me, Hiei, Link, Shadow the Hedgemouse, Jack Skellingtons, me, and who else?" "I think we should get Sasuke," said Link. "He's in Gryffindors, but if we tell him Dumbledore is a paedophile, he will probably want to kill him too." "That's an extortionist idea," said Bella. "I think we should do it." They all ran to Gryffindor Commonplace and barged in on Sasuke. He was changing and half naked. Fangasm. Everyone ran out once because it was embarrassing, except Hiei, who came out a few minutes later. "What the hell, Hiei?" shouted Dally. "Do you like him?" "I don't think so," said Hiei. "It was kinda hot, though." "This is not the fucking point," barged Edward. "We need his help, so it doesn't matter what clothes he's wearing." They came back in and he was closed. "What do you want, gays?" said Sasuke. "Sorry, I was studying." "We need your help to kill a certain pedophile," said Shadow in a low but gruggly voice. "You're a ninja, and therefore good with killing. You also have powers, and a wizard." "I will join your team," said Sasuke. He was tying his shoes. "When will we go on the missionary?" "Right fucking now," said Bella. And so they all ran off into the night, defeating the faggot Dumbledore with the powers. So